Hi, and welcome to my channel where I make dishes inspired by some of my favorite video game characters. Today's dish is inspired by Louis Guiabern from Metaphor Refantazio. Louis is an incredibly intriguing character and is definitely one of the more memorable antagonists I've seen in recent games. He's so confident in his ways and is so cool and intimidating. I can understand why he becomes a popular leader with thousands of followers because he just gives off an aura of someone who is a big deal and someone you should follow. I also can appreciate the fact that Louis is bad and there's really no hiding it. He's not one of those antagonists that betrays the party during the game after seeming so trustworthy. Throughout the whole game, our rival is Louis from day one, and he's always there ruining our plans at every step. Just when you think he's gone, he shows up again, and you've got to respect that tenacity. His character design is immaculate, and his voice is so perfectly suited to his elegant and powerful personality. His boss fights were always a joy, especially with the battle theme, and he kind of reminds me of Seymour from Final Fantasy X because I know I'm supposed to hate him, but gosh darn it, the game gets more interesting every time he's on screen. When thinking of a dish for Louis, I lean towards a savory dish of some kind because I get the feeling that Louis sees desserts as a waste of calories. He has such a sophisticated demeanor, and I feel like he would really be drawn towards a pasta dish. His long blonde hair reminds me of linguine noodles with Alfredo sauce, which is a very tasty combination already. Although Louis boasts a holy appearance filled with white and light colors, we all know that there's evil within, and I felt like a spicy kick inside would embody his mean streak. Lastly, the clamar horns he has remind me of the curl of cooked shrimp. Therefore, altogether, we're making a chili shrimp Alfredo pasta, and it may just help you win over the citizens of Grand Trad for the Tournament of the Throne. Here's what you'll need to make your own: linguine or fettuccine noodles, unsalted butter, 1 shallot, garlic, heavy cream, Italian seasoning, chili paste, black pepper, salt, shredded Parmesan, 1 pound of large shrimp, paprika, lemon juice, and optional fresh basil for garnish. To get some prep out of the way, start out by peeling and mincing your shallot and setting aside for later. I forgot to buy fresh garlic from the grocery store for this video, so I used garlic, but if you have fresh garlic, peel and mince 5 cloves for later as well. If the shrimp you have has not come peeled and deveined already, go ahead and do this now. You can also leave the shrimp tails on if you'd like, or take them off, whichever you would prefer. Next, if you have a block of Parmesan, go ahead and grate it now until you have about 2 cups worth. Lastly, you'll want to weigh out about 12 ounces of your pasta noodles. Speaking of pasta, we can then start the cooking process by cooking our pasta first. Bring a large pot of salted water to a boil at your stovetop on high. Once the water is boiling, add in your 12 ounces of noodles and cook according to the package directions. Once the noodles are cooked, reserve about a cup of the starchy pasta water before draining the noodles in a colander. Now, while all of the pasta cooking is happening, including the boiling and cooking, you can get to work on your Alfredo sauce. You'll grab a large pan and heat it on medium heat. Once the surface is warm, add in 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter and allow it to fully melt. As soon as the butter is melted, you'll add in your minced shallot and saute for about 2 to 4 minutes until softened. You'll then add in your 5 cloves of garlic and cook an additional 1 to 2 minutes until the buttery skillet is nice and fragrant. We'll then add in 1½ cups of heavy cream, 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, 1½ tablespoons of chili paste, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and salt to taste. We'll whisk the contents together until the contents start to simmer and slightly bubble. Once we see the bubbles, we'll reduce the heat to medium-low and continue whisking and stirring often for another 5 minutes. You'll then turn off the heat under the Alfredo and wait until it stops bubbling. Then you'll add in your shredded Parmesan and whisk everything. Turn the heat back onto low and continue whisking constantly until the cheese is melted and the sauce becomes smoother. Allow the sauce to heat for a few more minutes and season with more salt and pepper to taste if needed. At this point, the sauce is ready to go for later. We just have one final step, and that's to cook the shrimp. To start the shrimp, pat your shrimp dry and season with salt, pepper, and about 1 teaspoon of paprika. Mix the shrimp around until all surfaces are pretty evenly coated. You'll heat another pan on medium heat and once warm, we'll toss in another 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter. As the butter melts, we'll add our shrimp in an even layer on the pan surface and cook for about 2 to 3 minutes without stirring. We can then flip the shrimp and stir, allowing the shrimp to continue cooking on the other side for about another 2 to 3 minutes. You'll know the shrimp is done cooking once it becomes more of a C shape than before and turns opaque. When your shrimp looks done, add in about 1 tablespoon of lemon juice before tossing the shrimp a final time. From here, we just have to combine all of our components. To our large pan of Alfredo sauce, we'll add in our cooked noodles and then stir until the noodles are well combined. We'll then slide in our cooked shrimp and again toss until everything is coated. If your sauce is too thick or cheesy, this is where you can pour in some of your leftover starchy pasta water to thin it more to your desired consistency. Lastly, portion your pasta out into a serving bowl and optionally top with fresh basil before enjoying. I'm an absolute glutton for pastas of any kind, and this pasta is definitely rich and addictive. The long linguine or fettuccine noodles latch onto the Alfredo sauce so well that each twirled up bite feels so creamy and decadent. The sauce itself sure is flavorful and cheesy, with a nice kick of spice right at the end of each bite, really embodying Luis's hidden intentions. The shrimp adds some welcome protein and texture to the dish as well as their own tried and true flavor. Everything together feels so sophisticated yet simple, as all in all, this dish may seem complex, but it's not too difficult to whip up. I can picture Luis ordering one of his followers to whip up something for him to eat and going through several bad iterations before someone finally brings this up in front of him. The look of it would immediately make him lift an eyebrow in intrigue. He'd take a bite and his brain would be dancing in joy over the taste, but his face would stay cool and collected and he'd simply say, "Excellent," to the one who made it. The dish would feel just right. It would supply him with the calories and nutrients he needs while having just a subtle hint of elegance as well as depth. It will take a lot of work to see all of his goals and desires realized for the world, especially if he has to continue facing off against that Eldon boy and his crew. For the moment, though, he'll gather his strength from this dish as well as some charm to continue winning over the people of Grand Trad as he so effortlessly does. The recipe card is in the video description if you'd like a more quick and concise version to give it a try. Like if you want a bite, subscribe for more geeky treats, and comment what foods Luis reminds you of. Thanks for following along.